of the evening, and we've already got some stuff out on the way. Over here on the right-hand side of the map, we have in green our Protoss player, InkedWarrior.
Triple T, Inked Warrior.
And his opponent. Ooh, this is funny. His opponent up in the top left of Merry-Go-Round, spawning in the red, is going to be also Protoss, currently teamless, Shardz.
Indeed, and of course, as people I'm sure can see, there is a proxy 2 gate going on in the middle of the map. So pretty interesting, the location here. It's a bit farther away, but he's covering kind of both bases in case he's in one or the other.
Yeah,
and there is no zealot or anything started. Yeah, exactly. So he's got every advantage here to try and get this to work, but we'll see if it does. It can still be hard to pull off, given mothership cores and everything.
Yeah, Shardz has actually skipped a zealot though on his gateway and gone straight for a stalker. So InkedWarrior sent a zealot straight there. Shardz is going to see it though. He's going to see the zealot as he moves out a probe to get a pylon down, and
yeah, he'll have to.
I don't know what's InkedWarrior supposed to do with zealot. Should he be focusing down the pylon or going for probe kills right now?
I think you kind of go for the pylon. I always go for the pylon here until they show that they're going to make a mothership core. And then I always just target the Nexus down. if you get 5 zealots out, they will kill the Nexus before a mothership core can kill them.
Fun fact.
So that's what I tend to like to do. And this with one stalker, you want to send like one zealot after the stalker while the other one goes to work on probes. And that's what he's doing.
The stalker's going to kill the zealot eventually, but with 2, having to do twice. If there was just one stalker tagged onto each zealot, Shardz has to do so much micro to be getting both of them microing back at the same time, whereas the other 2 zealots, and this is sort of what he's having to do with just the one. InkedWarrior has already picked up a ton of probe kills. They're down on equal probe counts now. The mothership core is out, and it's not going to be threatened by the zealots, but still, InkedWarrior has killed both of the stalkers. And in the time it takes this mothership core to kill the zealots, so many probes are going to go down. He killed the pylon, he depowered the gateway, and yeah, it looks like InkedWarrior has taken the first series here. 5 probes out for Shardz. It's difficult to imagine him coming back from this.
Yeah, and he's trapped this other stalker here. It does go down before it can get away. Like I said, with once he's up to 5-6 zealots, which he's going to be, he can actually just target fire the Nexus itself down, and he'll get it before there's enough energy. But it doesn't look like he'll do that, but it doesn't really matter. There's not enough minerals left for anything beyond just this next stalker.
Yeah, InkedWarrior has a lot of options here. He can target down the pylon, he can target down the cyber core as well. He's actually doing it for both. He can target down the Nexus or just go for probes. And behind this, of course, he's getting up the side Nexus core, double gas. Pretty soon, it's going to be stalkers coming out of these gateways, and GG. Shardz finally taps out, and InkedWarrior takes the first game. To Nimbus, welcome to Nimbus. Welcome to what could be the final match here for one of these 2 players. The orange Protoss spawning down the bottom right is up against the wall, up against elimination. Down but not out is Shardz.
And his opponent up here on the top right-hand side of the map, we have our green Protoss player. He is the Canadian, currently up 1-0. It is InkedWarrior.
Triple
T. He is building at the
Warrior.
ramp here, which, as you mentioned in a previous game, makes you a little more vulnerable just because it's not covered by photon overcharge. And very often that can be a big difference in PvP in particular.
Yeah, and it is an interesting choice in PvP as well, because, I mean, the funny thing is, really the only reason to wall in PvP is it's a little safer against proxy 2 gate. So maybe the last game has him a little edgy, because as soon as the mothership core and some stalkers are poking up, you can get a position firing on that gateway and trying to poke that down, or poking up on the cyber core, where there's no real good answer for InkedWarrior, but it all depends really on what Shardz actually decides to do. I don't think he's going to go. He's going for a little bit of a Stalker poke, but InkedWarrior can sort of sit up on the high ground a little bit and threaten the Stalker. So, I mean, a Zealot beats a Stalker one-on-one. So if InkedWarrior just controls well and sits his Zealot at the right place, he shouldn't take too much damage from this Stalker poke. But an Oracle, really, really fast Oracle is the choice from InkedWarrior. So he's
you can see, I think this,
the
way that he's walling off here, this is more meant to deny scouting information from coming in here.
Yeah.
That's the intention here. He will lose these Zealot up front here. And 2 Stalkers will be in his base. They're actually going to see the Oracle go across, though. Yeah, which is unfortunate. It almost made it out unscathed. But he's still going to build something at home, and none of his units are back there.
Yeah, he's going to have 1 Stalker out just after the Oracle arrives. But an Oracle beats 1 Stalker, and the Oracle is going to have some time in the main alone.
Oh, he's not turning his Oracle on, though. There we go.
Yeah, he's kind of focused at home right now because he's already lost quite a few probes. He's lost 4 probes to the Stalker Crash, and the Stalkers still aren't dealt with. The Oracle is now turned on, 4 probe kills. It's just going to focus down probes rather than going for the Stalker. And it should get a lot of them before the Stalker actually, the extra Stalker warping actually drives it away.
Yeah, this does at least, not only is it the kills, he's got 9 kills there, does die. The Void Ray is out on the flip side, so that will drive things away here. And it forced the warp in to be at home as opposed to be aggressive. If there were 3 more Stalkers up front now, they just kill the Void Ray. But
yeah, they kill the Void Ray, win the game pretty much. But InkedWarrior defends with aggression. It's always the best way to defend, but you got to be careful with it. So yeah, InkedWarrior is looking in a good position. He can get a couple more Void Rays out and defend against the Stalkers when they arrive.
Okay, he will lose the Void Ray here now.
Yeah.
But he may get at least 1 more Stalker if he goes for it. Yeah, there, the Zealot takes it out. He was not, however, making another Void Ray during that time. He expanded during that time. Ooh. And I think that was a little ballsy.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, now with the that pylon focus down, there's no gateway out for InkedWarrior.
Yeah, needs to pull probes here again. Yeah, I think he needed to pull probes immediately. I think he underestimated the danger that this posed.
Yeah, he's going to have pull probes as soon as this Void Ray comes out, I think, and try and trap the Stalkers there. Because this Void Ray is not going to kill off all these Stalkers by itself. And it's actually going to go down GG, and Shardz even up the series.
Yep.
King Sejong with the players, actually in the player spots this time. And yeah, the first one of those. The winner of this match, of course, advances onwards to the playoffs. It's our final match of the night. And here, up in the top left-hand corner, in the orange spawning in Protoss, it is Shardz.
And his opponent in the bottom right-hand side of the map, we have a teal Protoss player. His name is InkedWarrior. And we got a second gateway coming down for InkedWarrior. That is the only major departure from each other so far in this game. A Zealot coming out here for Shardz. Neither of them taking a second gas thus far. And there comes one for Inked.
Yeah, InkedWarrior looking to put on the aggression with his couple gateways. I'm guessing he's going to chrono out a couple of Stalkers and try and put some pressure on with that, because I know it worked pretty well for Shardz in the last game, so why not? In response, Shardz is actually throwing down second gateway of his own. His Cybercore starting... I don't know, Cybercore coming out as well? I don't know. It's going to be interesting how it matches up. Of course, Shardz has the advantage as the defender. He's going to be able to just have a few more units before Warp Gate comes in if you're just rushing units across the map. King's Strong Station is quite long, so Shardz should have a couple more units when it comes to the fight, which will be at his natural. The third gateway will help with that a lot as well. And his warp gate's going to be pretty fast too. So I think he should be okay here.
Yeah, I'm curious what he's really up to here, how much of an attack this is. It is just on the 2 gateways. There's not going to be a proxy pylon up at the point that warp gate is done. Shardz has a sentry out, and he's kind of looking for this sort of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's unclear exactly what Inked is going for. He's putting a robo down now, so it will not just be a full-out gateway attack or anything. And we've got this Nexus coming down for Shardz.
Yeah, it's pretty safe expand. Going for a 3-gate into a Nexus, he should be pretty safe against anything. He's got the option to do a lot of different things. The problem is the Nexus makes just about anything he's going to do a bit weaker. It makes his defense a bit weaker, but if he manages to defend, if he holds on, then obviously he has that econ to power up behind it. The Stalkers are going to get a bit of damage on this Nexus, while Shardz can't really do anything because he's force fielded his own ramp. But now he moves down. Only 2 Stalkers aren't really going to be able to compete with the army Shardz has. And so, yeah, InkedWarrior has to fall back, and that leaves Shardz still with a Nexus.
Yeah, InkedWarrior will put his own down. He has the advantage of having the robotics facility already out. He's also got his mothership core out on the map, whereas Shardz hasn't built one yet. So he's not going to have photon overcharges or time warps available, which can be super, super important, especially early on in the game.
Yeah. Yeah, and Shardz as well. Actually, both players getting their tech up pretty quickly, both going for a robo. I think Shardz was a little earlier, but either way, InkedWarrior going for the Immortal first, whereas Shardz went for the Observer first. It's going to mean InkedWarrior's army is a little stronger, but Shardz is going to, with the Observer, is going to be a little bit better able, if he scouts with it, to actually react to what his opponent's doing. Actually, he's scouting with the Hallucinate Phoenix, so yeah, Shardz should have a good idea of what's going on, and he should be able to make the right choices to react to what his opponent's doing. And I think that sort of it builds upon his strength, which is he's got a bit better macro, he's got his Nexus. If he just has to shift a little bit to defend against what his opponent's doing, whereas InkedWarrior kind of needs to get some damage done to Shardz to be equal or stay in the game, because he's currently
he's going to knock him down.
34, and
exactly.
He had the macro disadvantage from like the start of the game. He hasn't done anything to equalize that.
Yeah, he tends to. It's unfortunate. He should be a little behind because the Nexus for Shardz came down quicker, but the real thing is that he doesn't use Chrono Boost very constantly. So he ends up losing a lot of probes just because they're not being made at the same speed that his opponent's making them. So even without any investment being different, he ends up being behind. But he is going up to the Colossus tech there as the robotics does finish. Phoenix is coming in both directions for players. And both are working on the +1 upgrades.
Yeah, Shard's actually going to try and take a third base here as well. So he's got his strength and he's building on it. He's in a pretty good place defensively, and he's going to went ahead, get more ahead in the macro sense of things. And both players getting their upgrades coming in as well is going to... I mean, they're both equal, so it's okay. But given that they're both going for attack upgrades... I feel that just advantages Shardz more and more, because he's going to have the bigger army. They're roughly equal right now, but with Shard's macro being what it is, he's starting to be able to afford to build on his macro and build his army at the same time. And as soon as he starts switching into just going for army, he's going to shoot ahead in the army count, and attack upgrades mean things die faster. Duh. If you've got more army, the things dying faster compounds on itself so much more that it really becomes a crushing engagement. What was like a 1 or 2 stalker advantage if it's just Stalker versus Stalker, a 1 or 2 unit advantage will really, really build on itself and build on itself as the attack upgrades scale up into the late game and units kill each other faster.
Yeah, and we've got a really big supply block there for InkedWarrior at the moment. He gets stuck at 76. Now he's stuck again at 84 for a little bit. And this is the time that you really want to be accumulating both workers and units. You can't really afford to have that. He is taking his own third base as well, though. So hopefully will not fall that far behind in economy. 50 probes to 45 for Inked. So they're still in the ballpark with one another. But one thing that's going to be really, really different is the Stargate is down and the Fleet Beacon is coming down. So more initial investment by Shardz, but if he can get Tempest onto the map in a Colossus versus Colossus fight, the Tempest win. The Tempest turn that drastically in your favor. So that will be a huge deal.
Yeah, the Tempest should be picking off at least one Colossus before the fight even begins.
Yeah.
And then you're, one Colossus down on where you were, and then that'll be Colossus falling every Tempest fire rate, which is 2 or 3 seconds, I think. So yeah, it swiftly becomes a big advantage, especially given that InkedWarrior won't have any answer for Shardz Colossi, but actually
he's getting
carriers.
Yeah. Also, I mean, certainly also good. They do tons of DPS. Shardz also has 3 Immortals compared to only 1 on InkedWarrior's side of things, and they're just so tanky and good that, it's just that extra layer of something that has to die, and it takes forever. Twilight Council coming down. So we could have them diverge into this Colossus Stargate versus Colossus Archon style of play, if that's where he's going.
Yeah. The air weapons as well coming in, and we talked about this a little bit late yesterday, but just to reiterate, also because I looked up and I was slightly wrong in the carriers are better than I thought direction. Carriers actually get plus 16 DPS per air weapons upgrade. Now this is exactly counted out by armor, but because both players are going for just attack upgrades and no armor upgrades, the carriers are going to wreck face because they'll have plus 16 DPS per upgrade on all of the ground forces, and with how high health Protest units generally are, they're not going to be doing much overkill either, so they're going to be killing a lot of things.
Now, he did get in there with the Hallucinate Phoenix, sees that the carrier is the thing that's going to be there. As strong as really high-tech Protoss air is, it's also slow, so it can open you up to kind of counterattacks, hit and fades, and things like that. But it is really, really strong. And given that this is kind of a smaller map, or at least I don't know how to describe it, but kind of twisty, curvier. It's hard to get away from the opponent's army, basically. That won't be as big of an issue. And I think that he's just all around, Shard's army is so superior in composition.
And InkedWarrior have thrown down 2 Stargates in a sort of desperate attempt to get some Void Rays or some Tempests out to deal with these carriers. And
Tempest could be interesting.
Have that. Yeah. Sorry?
Yeah, Tempest could be really interesting because of this is all carrier. If you could get a good 6 to 8 Tempests out, as opposed to the pure DPS of the carrier, that could end up being a pretty harsh counter to it.
The Void Rays or Tempests are going to be pretty good against carriers. But he's behind in that count. Shardz, he's producing them very much as a reaction after seeing that the carriers are out. Exactly. And still no defense upgrades. Whereas, InkedWarrior is going to be, Shardz even getting the carriers is going to be starting with plus 2 air weapons, as well as the Blink. Blink is going to be useful for repositioning again to target down the Void Rays of InkedWarrior. So, I don't know. I'm liking Shard's composition just as a army versus army sort of perspective.
Yeah, me too here. He is Yeah, trying to triple pump out these Void Rays in time. Only 2 of them actually out on the map here so far. Shardz is positioned to come into the side of the natural. 4th base is being taken by InkedWarrior. And going after these rocks here, he's got to be aware of it by now. 3 more Void Rays are about to pop off.
Oh, dear.
Army does come in. He's got a good choke here working for him. This may make a really big difference.
Yeah, the Zealots go down for very, very little benefit, but these carriers in the back are going to be sitting out doing a lot of DPS. The Void Rays aren't really tagged onto them. They're going to take down the Immortals really, really quickly, though. The high damage interval of those Void Rays is going to be great against them. And I still don't know that. Oh my god, the Void Rays kill those carriers so fast.
Quickly.
Yeah, no, he's got this.
Yeah, he traded the base for the base, but it was fighting in that he just was lining up for the Colossus, and all the Zealots just died. And that last carrier will fall as well. Both armies really ripped apart, but Colossus will remain, Void Rays remain. He's going to chase down one of the reinforcing Colossus that's trying to get away. And May. But these Stalkers trying to track him down.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to catch it, or catch up to it significantly enough. But yeah, InkedWarrior still has a 4th base, actually, so he can go onto that. And as soon as the Colossus turns, it's focused down by those Void Rays. The Void Rays are going to turn their fire onto Archons now as well, and they're going to fall in short order.
I don't think InkedWarrior is going to be stopped here. The Zealots coming in, they do have charge. Even against Archons, they will hold them off long enough to evaporate them. And he's right on top of everything. There is no 4th base. Losing this 3rd will basically be it. And coming in here now, Immortals, Colossus, Void Rays, and there's no way to match this. There's no way to face this army right now.
No, he's trying to get in the Archons and Void Rays of his own to face this, but I don't know. There's so much of an overwhelming army advantage for InkedWarrior. 108 army supply to 39. And as well as the fact that Shardz is now down a 3rd base, his main is mined out. InkedWarrior is still mining off 2 bases. He's putting down his natural nexus again. Or actually, no, he's not. That's just a mining post. But he could put down his natural nexus again.
Yeah.
Either way,
more
he's
Void Rays joining. Yeah,
way ahead
he's
gas.
killed so much production here as well.
Yeah.
As well as so many pylons. Yeah, he decides not to just attack directly up into it. He probably could, but why even bother? Just he can easily starve him out on the 2. The mains are mined out for both players, obviously. He knows that. So just with this 1 base remaining, it doesn't have the resources to come back.
Yeah, the natural's running a little bit low as well. There's 100 to 800 resources on each of the mineral patches, depending on which ones. But
yeah, he's going to come in here again while the army is distracted. Go directly
the army position. There's a couple of Zealots
and the natural itself.
There's so many Void Rays here for InkedWarrior.
Now he did not turn on his own. Okay, I think they're on now. But the Void Rays having their beam on versus not having their beam on just won Shardz that fight.
Yeah. Void Rays.
But there's still 3 more Void Rays over here just killing workers. They now have the option to turn their beams on when they don't exist for Shardz. Although he's just going to try and focus. He's not going to get it. Turn your damn beam on, boy. Okay, well, don't. But even still, it's boy, that evens are right out, but the worker count is not great. It's really just going to be the 1 base for Shardz.
I mean, yeah, it's the workers loss doesn't matter too much, and actually no,
not as much.
It's because
there's 2 for the other side, but yeah.
Yeah, if Shardz hadn't got his 3rd base, the work count wouldn't matter at all because he only has the 1 base to line up anyway. But with that 3rd, if he'd had the workers to fully saturate that 3rd, he'd be much more comfortable at getting back into this now. He'd be on basically equal economy and be looking to get his way back into it. But given that he can't mine off that 3rd base, and I don't know, he lost all the workers, so he is significantly behind the upgrades. Shard's now getting out the Tempests, but InkedWarrior is going into Phoenixes, which are, as far as Stargate units go, the counter to Tempest, pretty much. I know Void Ray is pretty good as well, but
yeah, definitely. They're so fast and they're all over the place. He will come in and actually just start lifting out workers too, I think. No.
Yeah, he could do a whole bunch of things. There's basically nothing on the ground to counter these Phoenixes, and they can run around the Void Rays, poking some fire down them.
Yeah, I think this was the wrong thing to do.
Yeah.
Like, categorically, like, there's no defense to that. Will he even get the Tempest? No.
Oh my god, he has to. He gets the Tempest, but...
Okay, well, that was just a ridiculous waste of resources.
9 Phoenixes.
Yeah, for one
like
Tempest.
100 gas each, I think.
Yeah, that's just crazy. But still, he's got the economy that's actually going. He can replace his stuff. He's got a ton of zealots on the ground. The actually taking out the air will end up being the hard part, but honestly, it'll come down to whether InkedWarrior turns on the prismatic alignment. If he turns it on, then he's going to win.
Yeah, it does so much more damage.
He hasn't turned it on, so or not in every fight at least. He will come in with zealots just right away. He could just target the Nexus down. Instead, he's coming in, traps 1 immortal. Will provoke a reaction.
Yeah, I really would have preferred him just to target down the Nexus.
Yeah.
But they were just rallied into the main base to try and get some tech. And as it is, they're going to get an immortal and a couple trade off for a couple of zealots, maybe get that wall gate. But if they got the natural Nexus,
the Nexus ends the game probably.
Yeah.
Although it's almost completely mined out anyway, but still the gas is there.
It's the gas, yeah. It would have needed like 900 gas, a little bit over because he would have taken it out, and what's that, like 500-600 minerals as well. Would have been, a big loss.
Also, while you're doing this sort of thing, so if you're going to do a big zealot run by like that, deep into their main, that's the time you just come up with the rest of your force and snipe this 4th and go home. I mean, like you just poop, done, and go home. Because he brought his entire army back. And he had to bring his entire army back to deal with that. It was like
definitely. It's a lot of
20 zealots or something. So he had to do that. That's the time to poke in and do something else.
Oh. Shardz went behind Dark Shrine and he's going to throw that down. How much detection is now out for InkedWarrior? There's literally none.
None, yeah.
He must have a robo, right?
He does have 2 robos and 3 stargates, so there's ways to get detection. He's got cannons at, I guess his 3rd, not at other bases, but
yeah, he loses the 4th.
There's time. Yeah, takes that out very, very quickly, and falls back to, I guess, what is his 5th base. Where is our Dark Shrine at? The thing for Shardz, he's not going to be able to afford, like, this is not a high economy game into Dark Shrine, so he's not going to be able to do that sort of a really obnoxious late game 7 DT warp in and send them everywhere. He just can't afford that.
Yeah.
So 3 will come in. I mean, they're going to get in. They're going to be obnoxious somewhere, but because there is no detection. But they're not going to be like game ending and obnoxious where they just snipe a Nexus before you even realize they're there.
Yeah, it's a bit difficult because Shardz, I mean, he's kind of behind, so definitely economically behind. So if he was a little bit further ahead, if he wasn't quite so bound, he'd be able to afford tons of DTs that would do game ending damage. But as it is, because he is a little bit behind, he can't do game ending damage, but he's going to do a ton of damage. Absolutely no detection out of InkedWarrior. Still none of production. Now 2 observers finished up, but he's already lost an entire base's worth of probes. He's going to lose the Nexus as well.
He's going to also lose this fleet beacon immediately, which he just invested in.
Oh yeah, that's bad.
Yeah. So that is a fairly big deal there. His opponent is now making detection, so hopefully we'll shut this down. He's not actually moved his army whatsoever to address this. So the DTs are just sitting in the main again. The Zealots coming into the newly established 4th. And literally no reaction on these DTs. He's just watching them. Yeah.
The observers are over them, but the army is not doing anything. Now the Void Rays come in. Plus 2 DTs have some horrendous DPS.
Yeah.
And they're gonna get. I mean, they're gonna get another pylon before they die. But they've already taken out the entire base of probes, the entire natural base probes. But the thing is that reduces InkedWarrior down to 2 bases, and Shardz is down on also 2 bases. Actually, no, it does reduce InkedWarrior down to like.
We're now to an even point. He's trying to establish his own 5th off to the side. If that 5th goes up, and we're still at 52 probes to 36 now, over time, and InkedWarrior is showing no inclination that he is going to attack. I don't expect an attack in the next, honestly, 3 minutes from InkedWarrior. And Shardz obviously isn't going to attack. So, this is the time where Inked could end the game, and he's not going to be doing that. But he's also not reconstructing like that many probes. I think he's just starting to now. Yeah, it's going up to 40 now, but another Zealot run by coming in.
Yeah, just a small one.
Yeah.
Gonna get taken out, but it trades off for a probe and a Zealot. Yeah. I don't really think
that's
worth
not
it.
too bad. That's fine. Yeah.
It's okay though. Yeah. I mean, Shardz has plenty of minerals to actually throw away on these Zealot warpins. Shields upgrades coming in as well, and those are going to make
both at the same
fairly
time.
big difference, upgrade or bigger difference for InkedWarrior, I think, than they will for Shardz, because InkedWarrior has so much of his supply in air units as well. It's quite well split.
Yeah.
The shield
Archons here now too.
Yeah, the Archons as well. Of course.
4 Archons coming in will be very helpful. And yeah, they're both just posturing. I mean, no doubt InkedWarrior still very much has the upper hand in this. Again, so many Void Rays. If the Rays themselves don't actually go on, that would suck. But this time around, there they are. Yeah, I think he's just so
actually, the only
overwhelming
thing
at
they're
this
going to
point.
do bonus damage to is the involvement of the other Void Rays and buildings.
Yeah, yeah.
Here we go, and yeah, InkedWarrior actually his Rays went on a little too early, I guess, but it doesn't even matter. He's going to focus down these Void Rays so quickly,
so
and
overwhelming.
nothing else to combat them. There's literally nothing that shoots up here. There's so many Void Rays, they're going to kill the Nexus as soon as they focus it down, basically. And pow, that goes down. And yeah, Shardz really doesn't have that much else mining on the map. He's just secured his 4th base, but I think InkedWarrior is going to push in and end the game before that 4th base really comes worthwhile.
Yeah, exactly. Now he'll go in, take out the actual production itself. There's no way to reconstitute this army. And yeah, we're going to have InkedWarrior, after losing 2-0 in the first series, will advance in the consolation match and make it on out. So
yeah.